What up? What up? What up? Welcome back to the scorecard, the boxing scorecard, where I ask people to bring your scorecard and an explanation, not just simply your opinion. All right, we had a big matchup at 140 pounds this past Saturday. Josh Taylor from Scotland against my man Teofimo Lopez from Honduras. He represented Honduras in the Olympics, but born and raised in the USA. A big clash at 140 pounds. Let's get right to it. So, the scorecards. I was actually wrong in my prediction this time. I was picking Josh Taylor to win by the judges' scorecard by unanimous decision. It was actually the other way around, and the scorecard specifically read 117, 111 to 117 by one judge, and then two other judges had it 115 to 113. I'm really not sure how they had it that close. There wasn't too many close rounds that I thought could have went either way. My specific scorecard was 117 to 111 for Teofimo Lopez. Let's get right into the round for round. So the first round I actually gave to Josh Taylor, who was more experienced at this division. He's been fighting at 140 pounds his whole career, and looking good most of the time. He had a little backstep against Jack Catterall in his last fight, but still ended up winning. Anyways, this first round, gave it to Josh Taylor just because he looked more aggressive and actually landed more. Not just because he was more aggressive, because sometimes people are aggressive but they don't land more. He actually landed more with his aggressiveness in that first round. You could tell Teofimo Lopez was looking for one big punch to land. So that was a little bit too. He made it a little bit too obvious in that first round. As I got the highlights on in the background here. Second round, I thought was the other way around. And give it to Lopez, with him being more aggressive, but landing just a slight more. You can tell Josh Taylor, a former gold medalist at the Olympics, has more of a boxing style, looking to not always looking for the power punch, but just looking to land, while Lopez was looking more for the one punch that would make you change your mind about your game plan. After the second round, the total power punches landed was 17 out of 35 for Taylor and 16 out of 48 for Lopez. So fairly close. Third round, marked it as a close round, but I gave it to Taylor. Nobody made it clear about grabbing that round there. Again, it was both more about Taylor throwing a little bit more, but not necessarily landing more. And then Lopez was looking to time that right hand. He was looking for his distance, and he was throwing it to the body at first. If we can scroll through the rest of the pictures, please. Yeah, he was going to the body a lot with that right hand, but not with as much success in that third round. So I gave that third round to Taylor. Fourth round, I also marked it as a close round. I also gave that round to Taylor. His boxing, my notes for round 4, his boxing was a bit better. Lopez is still looking for that one shot, and was not necessarily landing it. Although the stats for the round were kind of threw me off, because it was 46% for Lopez and 37% for Taylor. Even though it looked, that's why, the fights, you got to look at both. You got to look at the fight, and got to look at the stats too, because sometimes the fight doesn't tell the whole story, and sometimes the stats don't tell the whole story. Anyway, fifth round. To be honest with you, after the fifth round, I just thought it was all Lopez from here, man. Lopez, that fifth round specifically, Lopez made it more clear. His power punches were way more effective and harder on Taylor. Like when Lopez would land on Taylor, you can just see that it had more of an effect out of him. My man Andre Ward actually had a funny saying. He said, "Those right hands are starting to get a little bit more of a reaction out of Taylor from Lopez," and that's exactly what was happening. It was around the fifth or sixth round where you could kind of see the momentum shifting. Not that Taylor clearly had the momentum in the first half of the fight, but you know, it was a lot closer in that first half. And in those close rounds, in the first couple of rounds, as I said, I gave those first couple to Taylor. Round 6, Lopez. Oh yeah, Lopez gave Taylor the Floyd look, where he made Taylor miss a couple times and actually like looked behind him. You know, when Floyd did that to Canelo, like looking like where are you throwing at? Like who are you trying to hit? That was the moment in that 6th round there, just to show Taylor, like, you can't. Not only am I catching you, timing you perfectly, but you can't even hit me. This is where the momentum really started to shift, because even though Lopez's output was still not as much, again, the effectiveness of when he was landing was definitely clear on Taylor. Whereas there was a moment in that 5th round specifically. Oh, the moment might come up just as I'm talking about it. In the 5th round, where Taylor caught Lopez clean right on the chin, like clean on the chin with a counter right hook. Lopez just took it, shook it off, and kept walking him down. And that mentally kind of messes with you as a fighter. When you catch somebody with a shot that you know is a perfectly placed shot, counter punching them, especially when you catch them when they're not expecting it, and that still has no effect on them, that kind of messes with your head mentally. And I think that's where the momentum really shifted into Lopez's favor for the rest of the fight. That was one of the moments right there in the 5th round, even though I'm in the 6th round right now. But it just came to my head that it happened in the 5th round. Number 7, again, all the rest of these rounds I gave to Lopez. I'm just going through the notes. Round 7, Lopez was just walking him down, hurting him. That is demoralizing as an opponent. Not only can I not hit you, but I can't do anything to stop you from coming forward. You know, and you would think, again, coming to the amateur background, very good boxing skills. He was trying everything, but he didn't have Lopez's respect. Taylor couldn't get Lopez's respect as far as throwing those power punches. Because he was trying, man. Taylor was doing the things that were successful for him in the first half of the fight. But once Lopez got that confidence in him that, like, no, you can't hurt me, and I'm making you miss, that really, shifted things towards Lopez. Round 8, that right hand, this round 8 is the round where Andre Ward made that comment where these right hands. Those right hands are really starting to get a serious reaction out of Taylor, and yes, they were definitely getting a reaction out of Taylor. It was clear. I'll talk about this a little bit more detail after we get through the scorecard and we talk about the future for each boxer. But it was clear that Teofimo Lopez is very well comfortable at 140 pounds. His biggest win was against Lomachenko at 135. Everyone claims that it was just because he was bigger. Whatever excuse you come up with, he beat the man who was the man at the time. The question was how he was going to look in this one against Josh Taylor. And yeah, Teofimo Lopez definitely looks comfortable at 140 pounds. Taylor landing but having no effect. Taylor was landing some shots, but they just were having no effect, which got even Lopez's confidence even higher, right? Not only am I making you miss, but I'm catching you with punches that I know hurt you. And even when you do catch me once in a while, it's not even really fazing me at all. That just helps your confidence just go up even more. Round 9, all I wrote was dominating. Letting him get off. Oh, yeah, notes from the coaches. I like to pay attention to the coaches in between rounds. I'm not sure what's going on in Taylor's personal life, but after his last match against Jack Catterall, which a lot of people thought it was close and might have thought that he lost, he fired his coach and got a new guy. Never heard of this guy before, but I always give people a chance. But the instructions that he was giving him, I don't think were the right instructions in the time of the fight. Taylor's coach, going into that 9th round, Taylor's coach said to him, you're letting him get off and this and that, and was just getting angry. Like this, he was just getting angry and telling him the things that he was doing wrong, which you can spend a second on that, but then you got to give the instructions on how to get out of the situation. And he wasn't really doing that. In situations like that, the coach, like, you can't get mad. You gotta stay calm under that pressure and talk to them. Not to say you have to talk to them in a calm way, but give them specific, clear instructions on how to get out of that bad situation. Not just get mad at them and tell them what they're doing wrong. They can already see what they're doing wrong. They're the ones getting hit. You don't got to remind them of that. You got to coach them on how to get out of that bad situation. So yeah, let's keep those picks scrolling, please. Keep those picks rolling. Round 10, I didn't write any notes for round 10. Not sure. I heard some people say that they gave round 10 to Taylor. I'm not sure how. Maybe if you marked it as a close round. Hopefully we can scroll through some other pictures here. Hopefully. But yeah, if you gave Taylor round 10, please explain. Anybody in the chat? Nobody in the chat yet. So yeah, put your scorecards up there if you scored the fight. Round 11. My notes for round 11 is that Lopez is just bullying him now. Bullying him, hurt him. What did I write? The coaches, those need to stay in his chest and punch. Taylor's coach told him that he needs to stay in his chest and punch. I guess so, yeah, because at a long range, I mean, you just needed to switch up the game plan, because at long range, this picture right here, this is what was happening at long range. Taylor was not really showing a lot of good head movement in there. So he would, like, Lopez would back up. Taylor would do a good job of cutting him off and get in front of him. But as soon as he cut him off and get in front of him, his head movement was right there. He didn't have any random head movement to make Lopez miss. And then he would try things like this. In this picture right here, where he got Lopez in a few headlocks. This was the only thing that Taylor could do to stop what was coming at him. was try to do a few dirty things. Hold Lopez in a headlock. There was one time where Lopez got caught up against the ropes and he kind of sat down. Taylor punched him as he was sitting down. Just anything to try to get a little advantage. This was one of the few good moments for Taylor here. This picture right here, nice long jab. This was what was effective for him. This is what I mean. Like, Taylor was landing these clean shots on Lopez, but it was having no effect on him. In the beginning of the fight, like the first, third, and fourth round that I gave to Taylor, those punches were at least keeping Lopez at a distance. But I believe once Lopez realized that those punches weren't hurting him after catching a few of them, that just gave him the confidence. This right hand, you can see by Taylor's facial expression, this was a jab to the body from Lopez, and Taylor was reacting like this to it. So Lopez, yeah, he has real power at 140 pounds. And his timing and his speed in his... Anyways, we'll talk about his performance last time in his last fight. Round 12 was, I mean, as close as a round as it was to throwing in the towel. A lot of people say, well, it's the 12th round, just let him go out, let him finish the fight. But, people don't understand, man. Like, these are extra punches, unnecessary punches that will affect you for the rest of your career. That 12th round was, even though it was the 12th and last round, I honestly believe was very close to, having a towel thrown in, the way that Lopez was just teeing off on him at will. Like, what did he say? Lopez at this point of the fight was doing what he wanted to do, not what he was allowed to do. It's a big difference. That's when you're feeling comfortable in the fight. When you're doing whatever you want to do, offense and defensive wise, walking your opponent down with your hands down and still making him miss and still having great timing for those power punches. Yeah, Lopez, he really looked good in that 4th round. And that was my scorecard right there. Where do both guys go from here? As I pull up the rankings here. Yeah, thank you for scrolling through those picks. So, Josh Taylor was the man at 140. Josh Taylor already says that he's going to be moving up to 147. He's 32 years old now. He's been at 140 since he was 19. but it's not going to get any easier at up there. This is my scorecard right here. Yeah, this is my scorecard. As you can see, I gave the first, the third, and the fourth round to Josh Taylor. And then everything after that was just all Lopez for me. I didn't even... Again, I'm hearing some people gave Taylor the 10th round. And even the judges. You can go scroll through those pictures again, please. Yeah, I don't know. The judges that made it 150 to 113, I would love to know what rounds they gave to Taylor in the later rounds, because I don't think there was any of those later rounds that that could have went to him. Yeah. Thank you for those fight picks. So at 147, I'm not sure what Taylor, he's not going to take on Spence or Crawford right off the bat. I know everyone's saying, well, if he's going to move up, he's going to want to fight the best. Yeah, but that's not just the best. That's the best in the whole sport of boxing. That's not just the best. Spence and Crawford aren't just the best at 147. They're considered the best in the whole sport. So I don't think you just want to jump up, especially after a loss, after getting visibly hurt by someone at 140 pounds. I don't think you just want to step up and take on two of the guys who are considered the best in the whole sport of boxing. So some other guys, and even someone like, actually one fight which would be tough for him would be Jaron Ennis, who everyone claims that can beat Crawford and Spence right now. That would be a good step-up fight for Taylor at 147. All the rest of the guys, we'll see how their next fights go. You got Virgil Ortiz is fighting in a couple of weeks. Boots Ennis is fighting in a couple of weeks. Cody Crowley is in that top 10. Canadian. Much respect to him doing his thing at 147 pounds. Keith Thurman hanging around. That would be interesting. How about Keith Thurman and Josh Taylor? This would be a crossroads fight for both fighters. I'd like to see that. Keith Thurman versus Josh Taylor at 147 pounds. This fight would really determine where both guys are at in their careers. Yeah. The loser of that fight should really consider what they plan on doing, because and the winner of that fight still has a bright future at 147 pounds. So I'm going for Keith Thurman versus Josh Taylor at 147 pounds. But again, there's still other killers up there. Virgil Ortiz Jr. Yeah, man. There's still some guys, and these guys are all fighting in the next couple of weeks too. As for Mr. Lopez at 140 pounds, he's also got some sharks in the water. You got Regis Prograis, who lost to Josh Taylor a couple of years ago, but has been looking better in this past couple of fights. Him and Lopez would be very interesting. You got Gary Antoine Russell Jr., who's a power puncher. That would be some fireworks at 140 pounds. Who else we got? Matias, Subriel Martiz, Barbosa. Yeah, man, there's some big fights at 140 pounds. And like I said, Lopez clearly looked comfortable at 140 pounds. His power was there. His stamina was there. His athleticism was there. So, yeah, he just made that 140-pound division. And you still got guys like, at 135 that eventually are going to move up. Of course, Devin Haney's talking about moving up. Shakur and Tank Davis I think are going to stay at 135 for a little while, make some good money out there before they move up. Those guys are still young. Actually, Tank is, I believe, 28, but the rest of them, Teofimo Lopez is 25, Shakur is like 24, Ryan Garcia 24. All these guys are young, man. So they still have time to develop and get better and come back even stronger. Yeah. Anybody pop in their scorecard? Big. Yes, it would definitely be big. Yes, this picture right here, man. Josh Taylor, it was the head movement that he wasn't able to get out of the way of Lopez's timing, right? The random head movement. Lopez has a very fast first step. For those that I'm back. For those that play basketball, we're talking about with that first step. Sometimes you don't need the handles. You just have a quick first step to get by your opponent. And boxing wise, that first step is landing, being able to leap forward and land a punch, not just a jab or a straight cross, but a leaping hook. I believe this was the punch that Lopez leaped at him with a leaping hook. Just jumped at him with it because he's so fast with that step foot. If you're slow with it, your opponent can time you and catch you with a hard cross and drop you if you're not fast and timely with that. So again, this was Taylor's best defense later on in the fight as the fight was going on, with just to do a few dirty tactics. But it was not, Lopez was not fazed at all by it. He didn't complain to the referee, who just did his thing and walked him down and won a clear fight against one of the best boxers at 140 pounds. Lopez was definitely the underdog in this fight. So whoever put money on Lopez, congratulations to you for making some good money. Yeah. So yeah, man, that was a good one. Also, I didn't get a chance to score the fights, but Jaime Munguia against Derevchenko was a back and forth war. I didn't get a chance to see the full fights, but I saw the 20-minute highlights of it, basically like, the best parts of each round. And them boys were going to war. I would love to watch that whole fight and score it. If I have time this week, I might do it again. But yeah, if you get a chance, watch the highlights from Jaime Munguia versus Derevchenko. That fight was literally back and forth. Those are the fights that are the traditional fight of the year, where two guys don't exactly display the best defense and keep getting dropped and hurt. Not dropped. I don't think Munguia got dropped, but he definitely got buzzed and hurt multiple times during that fight. So yeah, that was another big one. No big knockouts, I don't think, from what I remember from the past weekend. But yeah, as I'm looking up the boxing schedule in the next couple of weeks here. What else we got? We got Tim Zeus fighting on the 18th. What other name? Regis Prograis fighting also in a couple of weeks. No big names. These are just stay busy fights to make sure that they look good. Well, no, sorry. With that being said, not just to make sure they look good. These opponents might not be household names, but they're definitely like B level competition that can catch you that can catch you caught slipping if you're not careful with what you're doing. So yeah, Tim Zhu already mentioned his name. Who else we got? When is Inoue and Fulton? Oh yes. What date is this one here? 12 rounds. Adames versus Julian J. Rock Williams. That is going to be a tough one. What's the fight info on that one? Of course, my laptop's being slow, but Adames versus Williams, June 24th. Make sure you pay attention to that one. That one should be very good. And then what else? Anyways, there's some other fight. I'll still be doing score fights for most of them. Educational breakdowns on what's going on. Erickson Lubin is back in the ring. Oh, Erickson Lubin against Arias. That I'm assuming will be on the undercard of Showtime undercard. That might be on the undercard of Adames and Williams. That should be very interesting. So yeah, there you have it. The scorecard for this week. Taylor versus Lopez. The underdog won. And Lopez, like I said, showed that he's a dangerous player at 140 pounds. Looking forward to watching him in the future. I got to give a shout out before I forget. I just got back from Nancy, France with Team Canada. A very successful training camp. Got some very good sparring with the best in the world from France, Colombia. Who else was there? Romania, Algeria, a small country named La Reunion, Mexico, and Spain. So that was a very good boxing educational experience for me as a coach too, watching some of the top guys train and see other coaches work with them. And see how I can implement these things with my boxers too. Because it's not just about learning a drill, learning a new cool exercise, how to do it. It's about how to apply it, when to apply it, how much to apply it, and how to adapt to different situations when you do it. So yeah, man, shout out to Team Canada. Next week will be the Pan Am qualifiers in Montreal, where everyone who won a gold medal at the Nationals in February has to fight against the number 2 and number 3 person to qualify for the Pan American Championships, which will be held in Cali, Colombia, in August. So yeah, I'll be the coach for Team Ontario for that one. We should do training videos. Yeah. Of course, I got that going on my channel. But yeah, shout out to the Talkin Fight channel, the #1 boxing channel on YouTube, because it's not just one type of show you get. We get all different types of shows on Talkin Fight. So make sure if you haven't done it yet, like, share, and subscribe, and tell a friend to tell a friend. You can catch me on any social media at Cedric Sports, my YouTube page, Cedric Sports Training. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next week with another scorecard. All right, peace.